What's going on, guys? So this is kind of like a follow-up of my last video because I was kind of talking about, the key to success is wanting it as bad as you want to breathe. I kind of lied, or I didn't lie, but I told a white lie because, I watch a lot of people that, motivational speakers, entrepreneurs and stuff like that all the time. And, one of the people that actually said something that, was one of the best things I ever heard was Tai Lopez. And I know some people don't really like Tai Lopez. Some people have some, I don't know, second thoughts on what he does, what he says, whether he's a scammer or not, or whatever, what have you. But this is something that I say with everybody. You need to be able to do reverse engineering regardless. There's stuff that I might say that you might not like, you might not agree with, and there's stuff that, I don't know, Grant Cardone or Alex Becker might say that you might hate, but there's some things that you might love. It's reverse engineering. Just pick the stuff you like, apply it to your life, and then go and then move on. Like that's all you have to do. So I'm just saying this, and the same way, I heard it, and I just thought it was really, really good, and I thought it, definitely is something that adds on to what I said earlier. Because I mean, wanting it as hard or wanting it as bad as you want to breathe, actually and honestly, is not enough. So basically, we're talking about, that one of the keys to success is conscientiousness, and conscientiousness breaks down into 5 facets. And one of the main ones is being like an industriousness, and industriousness is basically like being engaged, wanting to work hard, okay, energetic, having a nice extra step to your walk, like not just walking like I'm just gonna go to work, I'm just gonna go through the motions, I'm just gonna loll around all day. Having like a high energy, hyped, let's go. That's basically that's the first facet, okay. And then the next one is going to be something that I feel it every day. It's perfectionism. I mean, I can never be perfect, right? You can never be perfect at anything, but you always want to strive to be perfect, okay. He does talk about, Tai Lopez actually does talk about 6 Sigma, where it's three mistakes for every million. That's what a lot of major Fortune 500 companies strive for now, because it's just like, you want to be as perfect as possible so you can be the best you possibly can. And so, striving, you're not going to be perfect, okay? You're always going to have little things that are going to cause you to slip up, but being in the mode that you try to double check your work, triple check your work, and always make sure that everybody's holding everybody accountable, and being aware, just making sure that you are 100% in tune to every little piece of your business, and everybody else is, your team or whatever, software, everything is, you have backup plans, multiple, whatever it takes, whatever it takes to be as perfect as possible and have as many alternatives as possible should something go wrong. The next thing is being organized. One of the biggest things when I first started business was being organized, because I never really, this is for me personally, I never started out organized, okay? I'm just now, I feel like, getting organized, and it's something that you don't really prepare for in the beginning, like structure, because you don't necessarily know if you're going to be successful or not. You have no idea. Like, it's just like, I just want to be successful, and if it works, then I can be organized. Because there's no point in being organized if I don't know I'm going to be successful. It's like, I'm just going to be as organized as possible, have all my notes perfect, page this, and everything's going to be here. It's just like, I wanted to be organized, but I didn't know I was going to be successful. So, I mean, initially, when I first started business, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to get something rolling. I got to get something on the books. Let's just get something going, rolling. And so the biggest thing, though, is it's a tough thing when you first start out business, but organization really is important. It really is important because it allows you to have a freer mind. When you're organized, you can break things down better and then just keep things all in its place. Okay. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be organized, because most businesses don't even do that. They hire a project manager, they hire an admin, or they hire somebody that actually helps them as a team or as an individual get more organized. So you don't necessarily have to be organized. And so I talk about that. That's another thing that, part of your business, when you're having other people that are specialists at what they do help you, you don't necessarily have to be this, like, I have to do everything perfect, I have to have all these notes here. It's just like, if everything's not right, I mean, it's just like, that's not necessarily your job. It doesn't have to be, okay? But trying to be as organized as possible with who you hire or whatever is very important. So that's the third thing. But diligence, okay, so this is something I did have when I first started out business. Okay, diligence was like my number one thing. It's always been my number one thing for basketball, sports, whatever. I've always been, and diligence kind of transitions, and he talks about this. It transitions to the definition of being a hard worker. Okay, I was always known as they used to call me hard work basically. So that was just ironically that was just my thing. That's like my name basically. That was all I did. Okay, if I was in the gym for 6 hours, 7 hours a day, 7 days a week, I mean I would do whatever it takes. Okay, that's just what I would do, and so I never had a problem with that. That was really what put me in the place that I am. Okay, without that, I would never have done that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be successful if you're not like if you have at least like a perfectionism, organization, and you have a sense of like the industriousness of trying to engage yourself, but you don't necessarily have to bust your butt, like work 15 16 hour days basically. You can work smart. If you have the three, you don't necessarily have to have this insane work ethic. Like you don't necessarily have to. And so that's what I didn't know going into business. So like the things that I lacked, just being like more organized, and then being able to understand that if I was more efficient, working smarter, I would have been in a lot further on place if I just started from the ground up, building that foundation of that. So that's 4. And then comes down to the last one being prudence, and making the decisions that really count. Okay, because a lot of people, when I first started out, I've never really ran a business. Okay, I was basically like kind of like I've done management, I've done kind of sales, insurance sales and stuff like that, and serving jobs, personal training, but it wasn't really like a real business in a sense. And so you have to understand, like I did have kind of had some mentorship on running a business, because I saw it firsthand and saw all the problems and all the issues and hassles and things that would come up. So I did have an understanding of like how a business is essentially run, a brick and mortar at least. Not necessarily an online business, but I did have had an idea. So, but decision making is so important. It's if you make the right decisions, it can make or break you. I mean, you use the right software, if you use the right, if you're hiring the right people, if you're getting the right legal team, getting all these the tax side, the CPA side. I mean, there's so many different decisions you have to make as a business, and they're all so important. And you have to realize that, like, every decision really does make a difference. But if you analysis paralysis, if you don't make a decision, sometimes it's obviously the worst decision. I mean, you need to make a decision quickly, and even if it's the wrong decision, you can bounce back from it. Okay, and just knowing that you can bounce back from it, even if you make the wrong decision. Okay, sometimes it's going to happen when you make the wrong decision. You can't always make the right decision, but just not making a decision nothing's going to really happen, and then you'll never know if you just sit there and just let everything just go as is, you'll never really get to a different place. It's always going to be stagnant. So making decisions to grow and making decisions to connect or add pieces or whatever, a more efficiency, whatever it is, there's so many different pieces to it. So those are the 5 facets. But as an entrepreneur, I never knew that. Like I never really understood that. And so that's something that like Tai Lopez, like he said it. And I mean, people can call him a scammer if they want to, but I mean, I think that was the best thing he said. I mean, of course he got it from somebody else. There was a study in the University of Pennsylvania, but still, that's still a great concept to bring up. I mean, to anybody, to just understand what is really the focus and the foundation of just being a successful business person or entrepreneur or anybody, even like a student. Doing any kind of job. I don't know, sales, insurance sales, or something like that. Something that I did. I mean, if I had that, doing stuff like that, I mean, it would have helped me significantly. So that's all I wanted to say tonight, guys. But I wanted to add to that because of the last video, because hard work truly isn't enough, and so you have to understand all the components that really go into being successful. Thanks, guys.